The other important thing is to keep it simple, keep a sound check simple. You have two scenarios, one where you're a support band of a major artist, therefore, you got to do, or just keep it simple as you can so that you get a good sound. And also a lot of bands, there's situations in Sydney, I know it's like the other people in other parts of the world, where we've often have 2, 3, 4 bands at a gig. Each band will maybe play half an hour, 40, 45 minutes, something like that. So you've got a night time and you've got like 4 bands. You've got one poor sound guy who's getting paid like $50, $80, $120. He's doing an 8-hour night or 6 hour, 6, 7, 8 hour night. So it's a long night. He doesn't want to know about the drummer having drum triggers, the girl having sort of wanting a bit more tops, a bit more bottoms, the bass player wanting to have a separate sort of send for more bass, and a singer who wants an octave boxed on him, and a guitar player wants a sort of flanging backward wah-wah distortion thing or whatever. What you really need to do, so for example the drummer, or even if you've got a bit of drums in there, make sure nothing is like killing you with 100 dB more than what should be. Hit your snare drum, bass drum, tom-toms. If you hear a bit of everything, that's fine, as long as you basically can hear the singer. If you hear a bit of drums, that's if you've got a drum fallback, and a bit of vocals, that's all you need, bottom line. If that's okay, then go with that. You've only got 40 minutes, don't stress the guy out. If you can get a bit more, that's sort of fine. If you know the guy back there 2 or 3 times, well, he knows you're not a total dickhead, you can ask a bit more. But the bottom line is, make it easy on the guy, because he's probably the guy that's going to mix you out front as well at these smaller clubs. So if you get on, if you're easy, say, yeah, no, here's a beer, that's another thing too. When you go into a club, have a chat to the sound guy, and don't necessarily walk up to him and say, hey, do you want a beer, because that sounds really obvious. If he looks like he could do it, the beer, ask you one. But most will say, mate, here's a block of chocolate left over from the van or something, or whatever. You want a block of chocolate, you want some chips, are you hungry, or something like that, or do you want something, because someone that don't like, hey, you want a beer, because that sounds like you're blackmail, you're just offering them a gratuity, which of course you are. Just don't make it too obvious. But again, get the sound guy, and also, I can't keep coming to these points, also get one person to talk to the sound guy. If you've got a 5-piece band, don't get 5 people talking to the sound guy. Get one person talking to the sound guy. He's a spokesman. If he's got a problem, you can come to the bloke or the girl, and if a band's got a problem, you can come to the one person in the band as well. One person talk to the sound guy. So back to it, make it very, very simple. So make sure that nobody's asking for anything huge in the PA. As long as you hear what you want, which is basically the vocal, and as long as there's nothing wrong, we've all been on stage where it's not perfect, it's okay, it's not sort of great, but you can live with it. We've also all been on stage where something's like really massively wrong, like the third single or something. As soon as he starts to sing, it just like it's about 300 dB, almost kills your ear. That makes it really hard to play and really puts you off, So the main thing you've got to make sure of, mainly if you're going to get a short period of time to do it, which you always have a short period of time to do, you've got to make sure nothing is massively wrong. So basically just keep it simple, make sure there's nothing massively wrong, bit of bass drum, bit of vocal, whatever, and then just go and do your set. So keep it simple. One more little thing about sound check, try and keep close on stage. Sometimes, quite often you don't have much of a choice because you're working on small stages, but if all of a sudden you get the chance to play on a big stage and you're not used to playing a big stage, don't play on the big stage. Come closer. You're always going to go better off if the band plays better, the band will deliver better. People, even though you might look a bit better if you're more, spread out, look like a bit more stadium rock as a band spread out. If you sound like shit, they're not going to go, oh, I saw a band last night, they sound like shit, but gee, they look good. Doesn't matter. I remember this one tour with Pearl Jam. They came in a tour in Sydney, in Australia once, and it was a cheap tour because they made sure to keep the tickets down. So therefore, they only had a small amount of lights and modest sort of sound. But the band packed in really, really close, and they rocked like you couldn't believe. Everybody would have gone, the band's great. So so come and sort of try and get the band a bit tighter. The band will play better. It'll probably, as a result, will sound better, and it's just better. Because there's nothing worse than a spread out, and all of a sudden you feel just weird. I remember the first time I played the entertainment centre once. I was here, the guitar player was in Chicago, and the bass player was in New York. It was just horrible. There was just no feeling at all. I don't know what the sound was like, but I wasn't impressed. So just keep it nice and tight. So that's about it. A sound check. Keep it nice and tight, keep it simple, and you get what you want. If you ask for 2 things, you get it. If you ask for 16 things, you get 1 thing. Good luck.